Every single one of you has one thing in common with me, and it isn't related to biology. It's connected to your past. It's something that you may be experiencing right now in your present, and it's something that you most likely will experience in your future. And it's a 4-letter word. And I'm sure you're all racking your brains as to what it might be. Well, it's called pain. Every single one of you has either experienced a painful situation. You may be going through something incredibly difficult, challenging, and heavy right now. And as you go out into your future, you will most likely encounter pain. And this applies to every single one of us. And because it applies to every single one of us, and because the world is doing everything it can to prevent us from experiencing emotional and social pain, or when we experience it, trying to remedy it, I have a very important message for you. Pain is a superpower. It's your superpower. Pain is a prerequisite for success. Pain is at the root of success. You cannot and you will not be able to become a successful artist, author, business person, entrepreneur, or anything else unless you have experienced deep, excruciating pain, the like of which makes you lie on the floor crying deep, painful, ugly tears. So on that note, that pain is a superpower. And before I tell you how and why pain is a superpower, let me give you the science. I want you to imagine that you are sorting through some personal documents. And as you're sorting through the personal documents, you cut your finger. You have a paper cut. There is a part of your brain that switches on and tells you that something is wrong. And as a result of that, you say, ouch, that hurt. Now that's physical pain. Now I want you to imagine that you're in a social gathering. There are people there that you know. There are people that you don't know. There's laughter. There's connection. Eye contact is being made. But where all of that is taking place, you've been isolated. You've been excluded. No one is making eye contact with you. And you feel incredibly uncomfortable. And you wonder what's wrong with you. And you experience this level of social pain. Well, research has been conducted in labs to show that emotional pain, betrayal, rejection, loss, activates a part of the brain just as the part of the brain activates as a result of a paper cut. Now that's incredible. Essentially, the brain switches on for physical pain just as it does for emotional and social pain too. Now I'm going to tell you something which is going to completely blow your mind. When you're experiencing physical pain and you take paracetamol to make the physical effects go away, research has also shown that the emotional and social effects of pain are also removed by taking paracetamol. Now, I'm in no way advocating that we pack a pack of painkillers in our bags when we're going to a social gathering. We're not doing that, right? But the point I'm trying to make here is that the brain treats emotional and social pain in the same way that it treats physical pain. They have the same neurological activation. So what does this mean for us as we go about our lives experiencing pain? Pain that causes us to cry, pain that causes us to question ourselves, pain that causes us to question reality. Well, there's something incredible that can emerge from this. Pain is a motivator. Pain literally takes you from A to B. Why? Because the brain is telling you that you need to do something about it. So when you are going through relationship problems, when you're feeling isolated, when you're feeling rejected, when life doesn't quite seem to make sense, the brain is activating pain so that you can do something about it. So then pain becomes a motivator. Pain then is behind all achievements and successes. It's the glue that drives us through hard work, through connection, through creativity to design, to build, to create, and to succeed. Pain is at the root of success. J.K. Rowling, who wrote one of the top 5 best-selling books of all time, the Harry Potter books, right? Went through the pain of living close to poverty. Oprah Winfrey, who was fired from her first job as a TV anchor because she was shamed for becoming too emotionally invested in her stories. She went through the pain of shame, and yet she became one of the most famous, iconic TV personalities of the 90s. Einstein, synonymous for genius. And yet, did you know that little Einstein was bullied, ridiculed because something was wrong with him? Because he couldn't speak until he was the age of 9. Viola Davis, the famous actress, was so painfully poor that her family couldn't afford to buy a camera, and so she only has one picture from her entire traumatic childhood. And then we have Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs, who went through the pain of being rejected by both his birth parents, who went through the difficult journey of trying to heal from pancreatic cancer, who was fired from the very company that he created. All of this pain, and yet he walked the world into a new era of technology. Pain. When you think about an award ceremony, you're waiting for the main awards, right? Best actor, best actress, best movie. And so I would like to talk to you about the most influential person in history by consensus. This individual lost both parents. This individual became an orphan. This individual was rejected by family and friends. This individual was harassed. This individual was assaulted, and yet this individual has held onto the most influential accolade, the most influential person in history. And he is none other than the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. All of this pain. When I was 16 years old, I made a decision to convert to Islam. My Italian mother, she's Sicilian actually, was married to an Englishman who had an absolute hatred for Islam. So much so that he brainwashed my mother to also develop this deeply held hatred for my individual choice. And when I was at the age of 17, she looked me in the eyes and she said to me, "I'm no longer your mother. You're on your own." At the vulnerable age of 17, I had to forget about my goals and my dreams, where my teachers and tutors said that I would go so far. I had to forget about all of that and instead find a job to put a roof over my head and food in my mouth. The most difficult thing that I experienced during my teenage years. Fast forward 11 years later. I was in the shower. Now, there's a running joke amongst my friends, so much so, because they say that all my ideas come to me in the shower, that they bought me this device. It's a waterproof pad and pencil that you stick to your shower wall, so you can note down your ideas whilst you're in the shower. And I actually wonder what pain the inventor must have gone through to invent that. But anyway, back to my story. So I was in the shower, and I was reflecting over the very difficult years after I converted to Islam. And I thought, I don't want any other woman to suffer unsupported. And so I set up an organization that then became a registered charity. And we have been running for the last 13 years supporting women worldwide. Fast forward some more years, 9 years to be exact. I went through the most difficult 2 years of my entire life. My marriage of 15 years came to an end where I had tried for so long to keep it together for the sake of my children. COVID came and I was separated from my children, having moved to North Africa, and I was back in London. I became very ill during that period that saw me hospitalized. I went through betrayal by someone that was so close to me. And then to top it all off, at the end of that period, my house that I had worked for so many years to build from scratch burnt down to the ground, and we lost all of our possessions. All of that pain. I went into therapy. And then something beautiful emerged. I found my pen. I began to write about my experiences. I began to write to heal. And I would share these pieces on social media, and I would receive messages from men and women saying, "Your words resonate with me." And I would continue until in 2022, I was approached by one of the largest, if not the largest publisher in the world, who said, "Hi, Aliyah, would you be willing to write a book for us?" That book went on to be published and became a Sunday Times bestseller. Had I not gone through all of that painful experience, I wouldn't have found my pen. Had I not found my pen, I wouldn't have started to write. Had I not started to write, I wouldn't have been discovered. Had I not been discovered, I wouldn't have experienced the success of a marginalized Muslim woman hitting the Sunday Times bestseller list. My success started with my pain. The world tells you that success emerges from growth. I say success emerges from pain. Pain is at the root of success. What does this shift in perception do? I'll tell you what it does. And this is what I hope you will gain from this talk. What this shift in perception does is it gives people hope. When they are struggling through their pain, it gives them hope. And what is life if there is no hope? Pain leads to self-development. It makes us wiser. It makes us stronger. It builds resilience. It lends us a deeper understanding of ourselves. Now, I want to invite you to do something right now. I want you to close your eyes, all of you. And I invite you to travel back down memory lane. And I want you to go back to a painful experience. What success did it lead to? If you are going through something incredibly difficult, challenging, and painful right now, what might it lead to if you were to slightly lean into the pain? What might come about for yourself? What might come about for the world? Please open your eyes and know this. As you go out into your future, and if you encounter pain, I hope that you will have a completely different approach, because you'll know that the brain will move you to do something about it. And there is always, if you're curious enough to ask how and why, you will always find power in your pain. Thank you very much. Thank you.